Hi, I'm Aime Dugger, the I3 at Garland High School, and I'm going to talk to y'all today about magic in the classroom. Mainly the website called Magic School, which I am completely in love with. It is very simple to use. It is an AI, and I know a lot of people are scared of AIs, thinking, oh, it's going to take over the classroom, or some people get lazy and they want the AI to do everything. Magic School is a website that is mainly made for support to help the teacher. I've got my slideshow right here. I'm going to post the link to my slides. It's also in the description, but the link will also be here in the chat. So you can follow along. Just so you know, I'm not one of those teachers that likes to go slide by slide by slide. In fact, I'm going to be demoing all the different tools that this website has. And if you want to follow along the slideshow, please feel free to do so. All right. So like we have here, Magic School, I've got the link right there. And for me, this has been a total game changer with ELL, with SPED, even just in general teacher helpful tools. It's got what you need. I promise. You should check it out. All right. And we're going to check it out today. So Magic School is made for empowering educators, and it saves time to reduce teacher burnout. That was their main goal. And they have over 50 plus teacher tools, and they keep adding more and more and more every day. So we're going to jump right into Magic School here. You ready? I am. All right. So this is your sign up page when you first go to Magic School AI. And as you can see, teachers can sign up for free. That's a plus. Love sign up for free, and you have access to everything. And when you log in, this is the dashboard. As you can see, I've already starred some of my favorite ones that I love to go back and use. And they have, a lot of apps. But there's also silly ones like a teacher joke generator and a song generator and stuff. And we'll get back to those later. But down here at the bottom is settings. And you're going to go into settings and you're going to set up your little profile, upload your profile pic, put what grades you teach, what subjects you teach, the drill. And then so that they'll know what you're to kind of cater what you need, they'll work with you. And that's when you go into Love or Ask Raina, which is the chat bot they have. We'll get more into that later. What I'm going to be discussing today is I'm going to go through my favorite tools on Magic School and show you how to use them. So the first section we have is mainly for teachers. Just any kind of teacher can use it. And it's a rubric generator. And I love that they give you examples. They also kind of fill in so you know what they're looking for to write. The difference between Magic School and Chat GPT. I know a lot of people use it. It's an amazing site, and the paid version is even better. But you have to know what you're searching for. You have to know how to word it to get what you want out of it. Magic School takes that issue out of it. If you're not good at searching for things or getting stuff worded exactly how the AI is looking for it, then Magic School is the place you need to go. So I'm going to put in, see an example, and then we can generate it. And as you can see right here, it's generating my step-by-step program. I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit so we can see real quick. It's got 5 categories because that's what I put in there. I'm on a 5-point scale, and there's my rubric right there for Magic School. And I can take it. The good thing about Magic School is you can take it and you can translate it to any of these languages down here. Or you can right here, this little link, you can take it and it copies it and it's ready to paste in your Google Docs, in your Word document, whatever format you need, it's ready to paste. But as you can tell, we've got every item that we needed to generate a rubric. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is the academic content creator. And what this does is it will create any kind of written story, whatever you put in there, procedural text. It can do a multiple choice questionnaire. It does the work for you. This one does. This is like the end all be all. This is the one that everybody's like, oh, it's going to do my whole lesson for me. Well, this is what you need if you need a lesson plan. But I'm going to punch in the example. And it's writing a persuasive text about keeping the school grounds clean. As you can see, it's kind of long. And I think I might want to shorten it. So I can hit shorten and it'll rewrite it in a shorter version if I think it's too long. See, a lot shorter. I can also have it generate some questions. And if I want to generate multiple choice questions, which is good for the ELL kids and the SPED kids, you can narrow it down. and make it better. And as you can see, it's just going to keep going. So it's got your multiple choice questions. You can also generate free response questions. There you go, right there. You can translate it into any other language that you want down here. And then you, again, copy and you can paste it wherever you need to paste it. It also has, and this one is a really cool feature, it's got a YouTube question generator. So you're going to type in your grade level, how many questions you want, what type of questions you want. As you can tell, free response, true or false, or multiple choice are your options here. Okay, what type of questions you want. And then it's also got a video. You paste in the video link to your YouTube video, and it's going to generate questions based on whatever YouTube video you're showing your kids. So I know, like, during your lessons, or you uploading a Canvas for homework or whatever, you'll say, here, watch this YouTube video. Well, here's your check for understanding. It's using this Magic School video question generator to generate the questions that you need to check for understanding. And the best thing I like about this is, look down here, there's an answer key. So this is saving you time. This is saving you effort. And you know if the kids are actually watching the video or not. And it even tells you, like, where they found the answer, like the times that answer was revealed during the YouTube question. So YouTube question generator is a must. If you're, like, giving kids YouTube videos, you can check for their understanding there. Okay. This is one of their newer features, and I think it's really cool. It's make it relevant. So a lot of the kids, whenever they're you're introducing a new subject, or you want to, introduce a new lesson, they're like, why? What do I need to know about this? What is this going to do for me in the future? How's this going to benefit me? And so you can put in here, what you're teaching. You even described where your students are. Like I clicked in the example, they said students live in Albuquerque and we're a mixed income community. So it really makes it relative to the area that you're in and your student demographics. So if you can look in here, it kind of says community cleanup and what it does. And so it's telling you what it makes, and again, what makes it relevant to real world applications. So the kids will understand more why they're doing it. And again, you can summarize it, you can translate it, you can make it shorter. Any of those are very beneficial when you're dealing with SPED or ELL kids. The next tool is mainly for teachers that are, hesitant with AI, or they notice their kids are doing a lot of AI when they ask for essays and stuff. This is an AI resistant assignment suggestions. And what this is going to do is that you enter your assignment description, and it's going to give you AI resistant suggestions to make it more challenging for AIs to answer the question for the student. So if I hit see example, it says I want them to write an analysis on imagery in the novel The Hate You Give. And so here's the difference. Right here, it's got explanations, and it says the assignment is this, and then it tells you what you need to do and ideas. So I've got 3 different ideas on how to make my assignment that I want to do more AI resistant. So kids can't use ChatGPT, or they can't use another AI program to write it for them, because I know you'll be reading like what the students turn in. You're like, these words are not a word the kid would know, or it's not a word the kid would normally use when they're writing something like this. So this AI resistant assignment suggester is very beneficial, especially when you're having kids turn in essays. The next one on my list, and I used it today, it's clear directions. I mean, how many times do you actually like write out all these directions? You're like, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. And the students have no clue what you're asking, but it made sense to you. So what you can do with clear directions is you can type in or paste in your directions that you wrote out, and it will actually separate it out and make it simpler. And see, if you can see right here, it's got different sections. It broke up my whole list here that I had into like different sections to make it easier. And if I think this is still a lot, because it made my little thing right here really big. So if I want to shorten it, look at that. It's making it shorter. Love it. And again, you can translate it. You can make questions off of it. You can ask Raina to do whatever you want her to do. Like I said, Raina is the AI chatbot. And so if there's something in here you want added to it, or, changed or more simplified, then you ask Raina. All right. So So far, these tools have been very, very helpful in a lot of stuff that I do on a daily basis. This one is more for new teachers, but then you've got some veteran teachers that are kind of like, I don't know what to do about this kid. It's a behavior intervention suggestion generator, and it's taking like educational practices and coming up with best solutions. You access immediate strategies for behavior interventions, and it supports a positive classroom management system, like, we're supposed to. So for an example, it says it's a third grader. So they're having trouble staying in their seat during instruction. And I tell them how long my instruction is. I put as much information in there as I can. And it tells me like what I can do for them. I can give them movement breaks. I can give them a visual schedule. We can do a task checkoff chart, preferred seating, a buddy system. Veteran teachers kind of know this stuff, but I mean, sometimes we forget. And so if I'm having a problem with a student, I can't run across the hall and ask some other teacher. I can't run up to the office and ask an administrator. If I need help right now on something, like this, where I can't get a kid to stay in a seat, I can ask Magic School. And they're going to give me some suggestions on how to deal with this student's behavior in a positive manner. So it's not constantly being negative. We want to be positive and create that positive classroom environment. And that's what this behavior intervention does. The next one I'm going to address is mainly for high school teachers and, junior and senior level, and it's letters of recommendation. Every year I get asked to write a ton of letters of recommendation for colleges, for scholarships, you name it. These kids need letters of recommendation. And I hate to say it, I used to have a template that I kind of pieced together, and I would go in and I would change the kid's name and I would add in some personal information, and then I'd call it done. And I would just have to pray that they wouldn't be at the same school as another, somebody else that I sent the same letter to. But with this new letter of recommendation AI writer, it will write you a unique letter every time. And you just enter in basic information about the kid. You don't even have to put the kid's name in there. So when I put in, John Smith is the author and the student pronouns, because that's kind of really important right now, is you need to include the student pronouns so that when it writes it, it'll write it in their correct pronouns. I'm their teacher and where they're going to, or what scholarship it's addressed to, and then some information about the student. Well, when a student wants me to write a letter of recommendation, I always tell them, hey, send me a list of all the activities you're involved in, the volunteer service, something you want me to know about you. And I can take that email they sent me and copy and paste it right here into Magic School. And look, it generated a letter of recommendation for me. It's a great length. I mean, you got to realize the screen's kind of shrunk because I got to do the video on one side. And you can fill it in. It doesn't have the student's name here. So you haven't violated any privacy issues by putting the information in, but you go through and you just fill in the blank like I used to with my template. But this way I have a different letter for every student, and I didn't have to stress out about writing it. Now, the main thing you need to remember about AI is what they produce. Do not take it for granted. Do not say this is perfect. You need to make sure and go back over it and read through it and make some changes if needed be. I mean, a lot of the times when I use AI to generate, a news post or something, I always read over it and I'm always making changes on it, but it's done the base work for me and it saved me my time, which is very valuable as a teacher, as a veteran teacher. Time is a huge commodity. And the last thing I want to show you, and again, this is for the English teachers, or if a student writes essays a lot or is writing an essay in your class, and it's called the student work feedback tool. And I love the fact that this gives them it highlights their strengths and it gives them areas they need improvement. So it's doing a good and it's doing a bad with a good note to it. All you have to do is you have to paste the student's work down here, and then it's going to generate it for you. So if I put in an example and I put the student's work, this all down here, it's the student's essay that they did, and it generated, and look over here. It's got areas of strength. You did great on this area. Areas of growth. These things need to be like gone back over. You need to revisit this right here. And then general feedback on your mechanics. I mean, if you can look over here, you can see like they wrote like they text. That's what they do a lot. But it tells them, pay attention to your grammar, proofread your work. If that student had just read through it, they would have realized I don't need to write like I text. I need to write like it's a good English paper. And so it gives feedback. You don't have to go through it and come up with, the growths and the problems and the strengths. it'll give it to you. And you can copy and paste it, or you can like cut and paste just parts of it out, or you can use this as a base to write your own on their paper. So the student work feedback. All right, so the next section I'm going to jump into is like the top tools for ELL teachers and the English language learner teachers. And the main one, the first one on there, and this is good for any class, honestly, it's a common misconception generator. So whenever you're going to start a new topic, kids have misconceptions already. They've already got something in their head that this is how this topic's going to be, or I've heard this about, the Civil War or something to that thing. But it'll generate the most common misconceptions on any topic that you're teaching, and it gives you strategies to address them with your students. So we can clear the board before we start actually teaching what this concept is. So if I have an example, so 6th grade, it's talking about right triangles. I'm going to do a different example on this one. Let's go to 11th grade, which is, and we're going to do U.S. history. And I'm going to type in the Civil War. You don't have to put a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I'm just going to put the Civil War, and you generate it. And it's like how to address the misconceptions. So like one, the North had a unified goal. Like everybody in the North wanted to abolish slavery, and emancipation freed all the slaves. And that's what they think of. And a lot of this one up here, the first one, the Civil War was only about slavery. A lot of students already know that. And I taught history for several years. So, I mean, and it's telling me how I can address the differences, like what it really is about or something else it was about. So I do like this to clear the board before you start teaching a new subject. With ELL kids, it's a language issue a lot of the times that they didn't understand what you were, what the topic was supposed to be about from somebody else. And so you can clear that out too. Of course, everybody's got the text translator tool, and this one, I've actually shown it to my students, and I was like, hey, is this a good translation? And they said, yes, miss, this is really good. And I just paste my text in here, right through here. And then I pick the language. I can type in the language I want it to translate to, and it's going to translate this. Now, what I like about this text translator is I can choose a text length. Like, this is a lot for a kid to read, especially if they're not, fluent in English. And I always give them the English version and then whatever language they need. And if you can change the text length to 2 to 3 sentences to 1 paragraph. You can also summarize the text in, in sentences or in points. Like if I want to do a 7-point summary, it's going to break it down to what that student needs. And I can copy and paste that up and translate that too. Or I can leave the 7-point summary in English, and I can shorten it. I can make questions off of it, or I can translate it again to something else. So this text translator is not just a translator. It will take it a step further to help these ELL kids with understanding. There's also like a text summarizer. So you can paste the text in here, and you can choose how long do you want it? You want it a paragraph? You want it 5 sentences? You want it 10 sentences? How much do you want this summary done? And you can also shorten it. And I can have questions asked off of it. I want multiple choice questions. There you go. All the way down. Boom. Okay, so there's a lot you can do with the text summary tool. It takes what text you want to get across to these students, and it makes it into an easier format for you to deal with. And you don't have to make up these questions. Magic School will do it for you. And then, again, of course, there's text scaffolding. So what text scaffolding does is it defines tier 2 and tier 3 vocabulary words, and it will also ask them literal questions. So I'm going to push the example, and I want to do 3 questions, and the maximum words, I want 5. Let's generate that. Okay, so talking about here, I've got the original text that I paste into the generator, and that's quite a bit of stuff. And you want to break it down so it's easier for the ELL students to comprehend, because sometimes this would be too much for an ELL student to have to like translate all the time, especially if they're not proficient in English. So over here on the side, you can see the highest leverage words defined. So you want to make sure that they know these words right here so that it'd be a bigger understanding to go along with this original text. And it's got questions that you can ask the kids that are structured as the story goes. All right. And you can translate this if you need to right here. Okay, my next set of tools is for SPED. Now, granted, all these tools can be used by any teacher at any time. These are the top tools for SPED. And I'm not talking to SPED teachers. I'm talking about teachers helping SPED kids. I'm not talking about just ELL teachers. I'm talking about teachers helping ELL students. I have a ton of ELL students in my class. So, and I'm not an ELL teacher. I don't teach an ELL subject. So I do need this help. And that's why I love Magic School. Okay, so we have the multiple choice assessment generator. It is what it says it is. I can put any kind of document in here, any kind of question in here, and it will change it to a multiple choice. Oh, sorry. Yeah, and it will generate a multiple choice question. Oops, please fill out that field. It's not working for me yet. So let's go 9th grade, and then I can type in a standard text or description, and it's going to make that assessment multiple choice. All right. And so it usually works. And then we have, this one is really good for SPED. It's called a text leveler. And I can choose what grade I want to level this text down to or up to. So the storm is a 7th grade. I want to, it's been rewritten as a 7th grade level. Let's say I want to rewrite it as a 4th grade level. So I'm going to generate it, and it tells you at the top, it's rewritten at 4th grade reading level. And so it changes the words so that they're easier for the student to understand. It also makes it shorter, so it's easier for the student to focus to, depending on which level you level it to. And again, you can summarize it, you can change the length of it, you can shorten it, you can make questions asked off of it for your SPED kid. So if everybody else is reading this essay and they're doing something else with it, but your SPED student, you need to modify it, here's what can modify it for you. It'll save you time. The next tool is the assignment scaffolder. Now, I've always heard scaffold your assignments for the SPED kids and make it easier for them. So this is taking an assignment writing prompt from literature, and it's telling you how to go through it, and then you generate the scaffolder, and it pulls it all up step by step. So the kid can break it down. And again, you can shorten it. If 6 steps is too much for the kid to stay with, you can shorten it, and it'll sit there and break it down. So, I mean, like step number 1, they need to understand the prompt, and then it tells them how to understand the prompt. Step 2, choosing the work of fiction, and it tells them how. Make sure you choose, the work you choose has a character. I mean, it goes through and breaks it down step by step, whereas over here, it was just kind of a big blob. This is what the kids are doing. This is for your SPED kids to break it down step by steps. And you could like give them step 1 through 3. And then break it down step 4 and 5. You can break it down even further if you need to scaffold further for the child. And then another helpful tool with SPED is accommodation suggestion generator. So I'm going to do an accommodation. I'm having a problem with the student getting out of their seat again. It's kind of like a behavior thing. And talking and not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So these accommodations fall in line with educational principles, and so it's not and they're positive classroom environments, and it just kind of reinforces how to help this kid. So if I want to put in here 9th grade student is having difficulty with learning the Civil War. History teacher. Generate it. So then it's going to tell you, give them extended time, give them chunky information, visual aids. It tells me different SPED accommodate. Wow, that's a lot. 10 different SPED combinations that I can use in my lesson to help this child understand better. And it brings it out for me. Like you can do, it has examples. If you can see like here, for example, use audio recordings, use video recordings, and then make them sit next to you. Peer collaboration, let somebody help them. These are all accommodations that were probably listed in their IEPs, in their 504 plan or their BIP, but you don't have time to go run and look it up. You just type it into here, and it's going to pull up some accommodations that are acceptable for you to use. Now, another thing that I didn't do a slide on, because there is a privacy issue going on there, but it will create an IEP. And I kind of like this. And you're not really putting privacy information in here. As long as you don't put the student's name or ID number or something specific to the student, I'll show you what it looks like. So it has the blanks, like student name right there. But what you do is you description of the behavior, the needs, the strengths. Anybody that's written an IEP before or read one, you can understand what all this stuff is about. And it does your goals and objectives, your accommodations and motivation, modifications. You can even translate it in here. You can ask Raina for other help if you need to, but it does have an IEP generator. Okay, back to the dashboard. I want to play with some of the fun stuff real quick. So again, I love Magic School. It is an AI. It's to help you. It's to assist you. It's not to do the work for you. Like, don't look at this as the end all be all, like, oh, they've got my assignment done. No, everything that's generated, you need to read over it. You need to make sure it fits what you wanted it to fit. You can't just accept it and say, oh, this is great, let's go with it. And it might be, but make sure you read over it and you check it to make sure and make changes if you need to. So like there's this one, teacher joke generator. So joke of the day is really big with SEL. And it's just kind of a motivational tool. And I want to do a 9th grade level joke, and let's do it about a math teacher. So I'm going to generate it. And it's like, why was the math book so sad? It had too many problems. They're cheesy jokes, like dad jokes is what they're called. But it's got different jokes in here. And I think it's fun sometimes just to pull up a joke of the day. Another thing in here that I thought was really funny is, where is it at? It's the gift generator. So if you don't know there's a thank you note generator, and it's got coach's sports practice generator. I mean, play with this site, but there's a gift generator in here, and you can type in like who the person is and stuff about them and how much you want to spend, and it'll give you suggestions on like what to give them. But like I said, there's report card comments, there's lesson plan generator. So there's a ton. There's even a math story word problem generator. There's a ton of stuff in Magic School, and it's very easy to navigate, especially for teachers that aren't very comfortable with like researching or getting the wording just right to get what you're trying to get out of it. Magic School is a lot of fun. It does save me a ton of time. Like I said, if you have any issues, any questions, you can always use the Ask Raina right here on the chat bot, or you can always message them. Oh, so like if there's a language you need that they don't have, you can send them a message, and I guarantee within a week that language will be there for them to translate. They're very responsive. And then see, I've Share the Magic, so I can share it on Twitter and share it with other people. They do have Share the Love, and it's got just testimonials, and you can submit your own testimony about how much you love Magic School. I'm really impressed. It's an all-in-one site. I don't have to go to several different sites to get what I need. I can narrow the search down if I want to. I can highlight my stars that I use, and there's always Raina. Raina will answer any question I need. And it's also the company. They're a good company. So look into them, look into Magic School. Reach out to me if you have any questions, not a problem. I am going to submit my feedback form right here in the chat. Let me get that copied real quick for you. There you go. So you've got my slide presentation, you've got my feedback form. Again, I'm Aime Dugger, the I3 at Garland High School. My email's on the last slide of the slideshow. And by the way, my slides were generated by an AI. I have that site at the end of my slideshow too. I did have to go through and spend about an hour fixing them, putting the font, making sure everything was right. But the basic was done for me. It probably would have taken me a lot longer if I had to do it by myself. All right. Have a Magic School day.